anonymous hotline is available to Ohioans. How it will be used to protect people in the Buckeye State. And port strikes are underway on the East Coast, but could they extend into Northwest Ohio? What impacts these strikes could have in the area?
And a very narrow area of some rain showers has been racing through Northwest Ohio with a strong autumn cold front. It's bringing some big changes that'll feel more like cool October weather. I'll detail that in my forecast coming up.
Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Kaylee Marentat. Thanks for joining us for this special streaming edition of WTOL 11 News. Well, the latest tonight, 2 men have been convicted of charges relating to the death of a Lenawee County man. According to Lenawee County Circuit Court records, Kenyatta Silvertooth was found guilty yesterday of several charges, including homicide, open murder. Gage Winsett pleaded guilty to several charges, including homicide and manslaughter. In February of 2023, 27-year-old Jonathan Simmons was found shot on Frank Street near Tecumseh Street in Adrian. A new hotline is open in the Buckeye State. The Ohio Human Trafficking Hotline allows people to give tips and report anonymously if they suspect some sort of trafficking. Wood County Sheriff Mark Vasilishin says 911 is still the primary source that people should use for emergencies and direct danger that requires immediate action. He says the hotline should be used if someone suspects something suspicious is happening.
The more things we do to address human trafficking, the better. Is this going to be the end all? Absolutely not. But it's another tool that's out there to be able to help people.
The number will then connect callers to investigators at the state level who can send that information to authorities in the reported jurisdiction. Ohio recreational marijuana sales tops $76 million. This is just in less than 50 days. Recreational marijuana sales in Ohio started on August 6th. And in less than 2 months, sales have surpassed $76.2 million. In a week, sales has topped $11.5 million. The Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Cannabis Control says there have been more than 8,000 pounds of plant materials sold and more than 1 million units of manufactured products so far. Ohio has a 10% tax for every non-medical marijuana transaction. For the first time in nearly 50 years, dock workers are taking to the picket lines. Tens of thousands of people walked off the job demanding a better contract. In more than a dozen ports along the east and Gulf coasts, striking workers are demanding higher wages and protections from automation replacing workers. The strike impacts nearly half of the nation's imports and 2/3 of containerized exports. Although ports on the Great Lakes are not affected by the strike, one supply chain management professor from Bowling Green State University says depending on the length of the strike, impacts could be felt in the Midwest. Experts say people won't need to stock up at the grocery store as there are other ports throughout the country that are not on strike. It's a story we first told you about yesterday. New changes have gone into effect for SNAP benefits. The factors that determine if you are eligible to receive benefits, well, they've changed. Factors that are being looked at include living expenses and whether families are in need of any other programs. The new change will allow more Ohioans to receive those benefits. Chris?
But we're feeling some really significant changes across the area on this first day of October. We're an autumn cold front. It's making its way into the area. So what's it going to mean for you for the rest of the week as we get into Wednesday? Cooler and crisp feeling weather. It's an early October day that could struggle to even reach 70 degrees. Much of the day we'll spend climbing through the 60s into the afternoon. For Thursday, dry, lots of sunshine, 76 degrees on Thursday. Should be a beautiful autumn day. And toward the end of the work week, Friday, nice and mild. Mainly dry weather on Friday outside of a brief sprinkle. Highs are going to be right around the mid-70s as we get into Friday. So that's a good breakdown of what we're expecting the next couple of days. Here it is, that strong autumn cold front that's raced now through the area. It's exiting off to the east. Did bring us a very narrow area of some rain on our Tuesday afternoon and evening. Rained for about 20 minutes. Most areas were around a 1/10 or 2 of an inch or less as that front came through. Really did pick the winds up, dropped temperatures very cool. We dropped quickly from near 80 degrees back back into the 60s and some spots showing some 50s as we go into our Tuesday evening. So here's the wider perspective. That strong cold front marching through the area now off to the east. There's going to be a little clearing that's going to take place then shortly before midnight. And once the skies clear out, temperatures, they are going to go tumbling as we go overnight tonight. Keep an eye out for this as well. First evening of October, our sunset time now down to 7:14, and we're going to continue to lose daylight at a pretty quick pace as we go through October. By the end of October, our sunset time is going to be at 6:29. We're going to knock off a whole nother 45 minutes of daylight that we're going to be losing as we go through the 31 days of October. Let's talk bus stop forecast. Getting you out the door on the second day of October for your Wednesday morning. Crisp and cool, lots of bright sunshine. Near 48 degrees. Some areas east of I-75 could be closer to 50 or warmer, low 60s. I'll tell you, the kids will need those windbreakers and jackets. A crisp, cool feel. 62 into the afternoon, bright skies and sunshine after school, and much lower levels of humidity. The humidity levels are going to be plunging as we go through Wednesday. So that crisp fall feel, if you've been looking forward to it. Brighter afternoon skies and a much less humid feel. And we're going to rejoice that gorgeous October weather. So all rain chances there now marching off to the east in our hour-by-hour forecast. Here's our skies clearing as we go through midnight. It'll be a mostly clear start to our Wednesday morning. Crisp and cool right around the upper 40s and lower 50s through the early afternoon. Here's the clock, 1 p.m. Mostly sunny skies. Highs into the afternoon. Going to stay right around the upper 60s and near 70 degrees. We'll repeat that Thursday with more sunshine, although Thursday is going to turn quite a bit warmer, making it back into the mid-70s. Here's that extended outlook here into tomorrow. Low to mid-60s by early afternoon. Highs eventually head toward 70 degrees as we go through your afternoon. 10-day forecast does have mainly dry weather. Highs in the 70s through the weekend, dipping back into the 60s early next week. Kaylee, back over to you.
October is finally here, which means Fat Bear Week is quickly approaching. And today's Behind the Hashtag will break down this year's contestants ahead of the Grizzly competition. For anyone at home who isn't following, Fat Bear Week is Katmai National Park's yearly celebration of some of the chunkiest bears in Alaska as they prepare for their winter slumber. Viewers can watch live trail cams from the park and vote online for their favorite bear in a tournament-style bracket. Now onto the drama ahead of this year's competition. Contenders for this year's Fat Bear Week were not revealed yesterday as planned after a fight, listen to this, Chris, between two rival bears ended with one killing the other on a live-streamed trail camera.
Oh, that's terrible. True story?
Yes, the death comes after a cub from last year's Fat Bear competition died earlier this summer after it was killed by a dominant male bear named Chunk. The circle of life proven to be very brutal. Fat Bear Week starts tomorrow and runs through October 8th.
So they got this viral hashtag then behind this. Is that what it is?
Yes, Fat Bear Week.
I envision this is me at the tailgate party, I think, just using it as an excuse to kind of gobble up everything I can.
Get ready for winter.
Get ready for the winter season,
yeah,
right?
Leave us alone. Let us eat our Halloween candy.
I do love a good tailgate, though. I could get behind that. I could get behind that hashtag if it's all for a good cause, right?
It is. We are trying to see the chunkiest bears in Alaska, and
they need it to survive a long winter.
I feel like my cats would love that if I played that on my TV and live streamed it, so I'll do that for them. Well, if you want to see more breakdowns of viral trends and 60-second stories, check out our WTOL 11 social media pages on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Sad news today, the American picker star Frank Fritz has died. He was the host of the popular History Channel series for years before he left. His former co-host shared the sad news today that he died last night. Details about his death have not been released yet. His former co-host said Fritz had been hospitalized after suffering a stroke in July of 2022. Sirens blared across Israel and loud booms were heard earlier today after Iran launched a missile attack on the country. A U.S. defense official says the United States intercepted some of the missiles to help defend Israel. Israeli and American officials say nearly 200 missiles were fired towards Israeli territory from Iran. There are currently no reports of Israeli civilian deaths. However, officials say they are still assessing the impact of this attack. We're getting a lot of questions from you about Project 2025, a proposed conservative policy agenda, and what it could mean in the aftermath of natural disasters like Hurricane Helene. Our National Verify team looks into how FEMA could be affected.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, is helping people in 6 states across the Southeast recover from Hurricane Helene. Soon after the storm hit, several people online, and Verify viewers Tim and Ann, asked us whether FEMA would still exist if the conservative initiative Project 2025 were implemented. So, let's verify. Our sources are the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, FEMA, the Congressional Budget Office, and the Stafford Act. We read through Project 2025 and found it doesn't call for eliminating FEMA, but it does call for big changes in how the federal government distributes relief funds. Today, local and state governments respond to disasters first. If they get overwhelmed, the governor can ask the president to declare a federal disaster, which triggers help from FEMA. Typically, the federal government pays for 75% of disaster-related expenses, and local governments pay 25%, although the federal share can be higher during severe events. Project 2025 recommends flipping the arrangement, so the federal government pays 25% and local governments pay 75%, although it would allow the feds to pay more during major incidents. The authors argue their plan would incentivize state and local governments to be more proactive in preparing for disasters. So, no, Project 2025 doesn't recommend eliminating FEMA, but it would put more of the financial burden of disaster recovery on state and local governments. The plan does suggest eliminating grants to prepare for disasters and recommends replacing the National Flood Insurance Program with private insurance. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Voters here in the Buckeye State will get to start in-person early voting as well as absentee voting on October 8th. You can vote early in person at your local Board of Elections. To vote by absentee, you must request a ballot from your Board of Elections by the end of this month, and mailed ballots must be postmarked by November 4th to be counted. For more information on the election, you can go to WTOL.com. We have some breaking news right into our newsroom. Sylvania Township police say they have made an arrest in a shooting from last month. Authorities say they arrested this man, 53-year-old Sean Landis from New Jersey. He was arrested in Las Vegas. He's charged with 2 counts of felonious assault. Police say Landis is a former co-worker of one of the victims, and they are working to extradite him back to Sylvania Township. Police found 2 people shot inside a home on Crossfields Road near Corey on September 9th. We will continue following this story and bring you the latest updates. Well, the death toll from Hurricane Helene is now at least 149 people, with many still missing. Hundreds of thousands will remain without power as others hunt for cell signals after the storm. CBS News has the latest.
Parts of the southeast remain covered with mud and debris 5 days after Helene tore through the region.
The challenges are immense, but our joint response effort has and will continue to be massive.
The storm left behind post-apocalyptic scenes like this in western North Carolina, where cadaver dogs and search crews search for those unaccounted for.
No matter who or where you are in western North Carolina, if you need help, we are working around the clock to reach you.
We've got gas at the bottom of the hill.
Drivers in hard-hit Asheville lined up outside a gas station to refuel Tuesday, with many streets and highways in the region impassable.
My daughter is down in Marion, and she's safe and stuff, but she can't get up the mountain.
As communities sift through the little that's left behind, they're also getting an opportunity to look at the extent of the damage and just how high these floodwaters rose. This video taken last Friday shows just how high the water reached in Swannanoa, only leaving rooftops visible. Pat Harris has lived in the area for 6 decades.
This is devastation. Devastation. It's the worst I've ever seen. And I'm 80 years old.
President Biden is set to travel to the region Wednesday to get a first-hand look at the extent of the devastation. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Asheville, North Carolina.
Forecasters are keeping